Welcome to Strictly Cinematic Startup 101 Business Podcast with your humble host, Sema Baya. Shout out to all my subscribers and the first time listeners and the last time listeners. You are all highly appreciated. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, to like, comment, and also watch all the episodes starting from episode 1 to get the most out of this beneficial content. I guarantee you it will change your life. Follow me on Apple Podcast. It's Sema Baya, SIR, then MAPAYA. Also, follow me on all the streaming platforms. You get all the streaming platforms. Just search for Sema Baya or it's Strictly Cinematic. It's Strictly Cinematic. Disclaimer, this podcast is based on personal experience as a young entrepreneur. It is not academic. If you are here for Textbook Business 101, then it's not a place for you, but I still guarantee you that you're going to learn a thing or two. This is not just theory, but it's based on practical experience, my practical experience. Now that we've got that out of the way, on today's episode, we are talking about paperwork agreements. Some of you might know it as contracts. Business contracts? Yeah. What are those? So, a business contract is basically a legal acknowledgement of the roles and responsibility between two or more parties enforced by the law. You hear what I'm saying? Right here, you write down everything. In a business contract, you write all the rights, all the responsibilities, all the roles, all the payment stuff, everything. You write everything. You cannot do business without having contracts. It's practically the foundation of any business. It's impossible for you to start a business. Although some of us, we start businesses, then later on, that's when we start implementing contracts. And sometimes we implement contracts not because we want to, because we are forced to. Because of now, things are bad. Now you are with people who you started from day one working with, then they start to take you to court because of maybe they want a bigger piece of the pie. But you thought that by just working with them because of it started as just a passion for you, then it's like, it's okay. Even though we don't write anything down, as long as my friend, he knows that he's supposed to get me 1, 2, 3, I'm supposed to do this, then we cool. Some of the things your partners, they don't even do them because of you say so. They do them because of they see that, okay, now this is what we need. So in the midst of all that, without having any contract, it's going to backfire. Because of all of us, we're going to feel entitled to everything. We're going to look back at everything and like, you know what, I did that, so I'm entitled. To a whole lot of things, even though they are not entitled, but they will feel like they're entitled because of you didn't even bother to write down everything. You didn't even bother to invest in contracts. I know a lot of you guys might be saying that no, contracts it's good, but the problem with them is that you need a lawyer. Trust me, you don't necessarily need a lawyer. All you need is to just type out everything, try and get as much information as you can on the internet of the laws regarding a specific type of contract. You invest in them. Because a lot of us, when we are in South Africa, we get to check about contracts in USA standards, not in our own standards. So you might think that, okay, that according to this law, it's going to help you. Just to find out later, it is not going to help you. There's a gap, there's a huge gap in that contract because of you didn't take time to invest in your own country's law. Because of all of us, our countries have different laws. Other countries, they're lenient. Others, they are much worse. So you need to know all of that. So we were talking about different types of contracts. There's a lot of business contract out there, but which one should you consider as a startup business? Because a lot of us, we associate contracts with well-established business. We never think of drafting a contract when you are just at a beginner stage. We never think of all that, but the truth and the reality is you need to start thinking about that from the get-go. From the jump, you need to know everything. From the jump, you need to write down your roles. Even though it's just you in the company, just you, but you need to write everything. You need to write everything to the T, the percentages. You need also to write contracts based on projections. You need to project, or you need to scale your business from day one. Even though it's just an idea, but you need to scale it and see in a period of 5 to 10 years what I am going to achieve in a period of 5 to 10 years. What is this that I am going to achieve? By doing so, already you know that maybe along the line you're going to need to partner with other people. You're going to need to have contracts with your suppliers. You're going to need to have contract with your employees. You're going to have contract with just a lot of people. So, but if you were to have a standard contract in your company, yes, you need to draft a standard contract in your company. That's just standard. Everyone that comes in, they're going to get that standard contract. Then through negotiations, that's when now you're going to redo that contract based on what you agree upon between you and the next person. So as I've said, that we kind of associate contracts with well-established business. When you think about Nike, that's when you think, oh, okay, there needs to be a contract. But when you think about a lady that's selling fat cakes at a local corner, you don't actually think about that. You don't think about all that. If you owning a spaza at the back of your room, you don't even think about that. But what if you start scaling that? What if you just start scaling from the get-go in that spaza? What if you start thinking like ShopRite? Because of whether you like it or not, ShopRite started as just a supermarket. Let me not say supermarket. It started just as a, how do you call this in the township? As just a spaza shop. It started as just a spaza shop. Now they're worth millions. They scaled themselves to the T. They knew, the founders, I kind of forgot their names, but it's two guys. Those founders, what they did, they scaled it from the jump. They believed in it from the jump. They knew that it's not just a business to feed their stomach. No, they knew that one day they're going to feed a lot of stomachs with their business. So they had to scale it. Even though some of the contracts, they did a verbal agreement, but it was still part of contract. Some of the things or some of the decisions that they took, it backfired on them because they didn't have contracts in place, but they learned from that. Hence, we as young entrepreneurs who are just starting now, we need to start learning from all those things. We need to start learning that we need to invest in contracts. You need to start projecting from day one. Where do you want to see your business in the next 5 to 10 years? That's why a lot of people, they prefer having business plan, because of a business plan, it also has projections. If you've been following up to the podcast, I think it's episode 2, we were talking about the difference between a business plan and a business proposal. Then the conclusion was that it is better for you to go for a business proposal than a business plan, because a business plan, it takes a lot of time and all that, a lot of work compared to a business proposal, because a business proposal is straight to the point. But still, in that business proposal, you need to do kind of projection and see and scale your business from day one to the next 5 years. How is it going to plan out? So all of those things, they need contracts. So I am urging all of you who are starting now, if you listen to this podcast and you've never thought of starting a business, but after this you're like, I think I should consider starting a business. The first thing that you need to do, you need to scale your business from the jump. You need to just scale it. You need to have contracts in place that are going to help you. Get this, there's a lot of people that think that what they're doing is just a hobby. There's no such thing as a hobby. It's all business. As long as it needs a certain skill, it needs you to invest your time in it, it needs you to invest everything, your money in it, then that is not a hobby. That is business. If you're saying that playing soccer for you, it's a hobby, but at the same time, you are required to buy yourself soccer boots, you are required to invest in training every day, then that is not a hobby. Then that on its own, that is business right there. Because you can still scale it from the jump. You can still scale from 5 to 10 years. I want to be playing for the country. I want to be playing for a local team. I want to be playing for international team. You can still scale it. But once you start thinking that it's just a hobby, that's when now you're going to make dumb decisions. You're not going to invest in it. People are going to make a lot of money out of you because of you're going to think that this is just a hobby. You might be a photographer today and think, I'm just a picture man or picture guy. I just love taking pictures. It's my hobby. I just take pictures. Do you know, for people out there who are not really familiar with photography, do you know the time that you need to invest in it? You need to know all those things. The composition of taking a simple picture. You need to know, which is the framing. You need to know all of those things. You need to know the aperture, the shutter speed, the ISO. You need to know what it means. Because all of those, they contribute into your final output, which is your picture. But you need to know a lot of things. Then that on its own, it simply says to you that you are a business. It's not just a hobby. It's a business because of now you start investing in it. You start wanting to buy new, better quality camera. What are you doing? You're investing in that. Now it's no more just taking pictures. It's beyond that. It's a business on its own. That's why you need to start scaling it. Once you see that you're doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over, and you're improving in it, and you have a huge amount of interest and time in it, then that is beyond a hobby. That is a business that you can scale. No matter how little you can view or think it is not little. It is not little, trust me. So you need to start investing in business agreements, contracts. Let me give you a background story into how important a business contract is. Okay. I think it's about 2 weeks now. There's a guy called Knobs. It's from the United States. Knobs is part of the URL TV. URL TV is the ultimate rap league. So him, Beasley, and Smack, they literally started everything together. But the problem with them is that contracts were never in place. They made a lot of contracts with other people, but they never made solid contracts between them, between the three of them, or between the three of them. 10-15 years down the line, now URL.tv is the biggest rap league practically in the whole world right now. Right now, they made a deal with Caffeine app. Now they're showcasing all their battle live on Caffeine, and it's for free. And Drake is part of the Caffeine. It's practical. I think he bought some of the shares in it, invested a lot of money in it. So you can tell that a person like Drake, he cannot just invest in something that's garbage. He invests in something that he knows is gonna generate a lot of money for him. So now 15 years, 16 years, 12 years down the line, after signing this deal, they chose not to include Nobs. Imagine. And bear in mind that Nobs is the one responsible for people like John the Don, Twerk, almost all the URL.tv rappers or battlers, all of them, maybe 80% of them. Hello the Don, all of those big names, it's because of Nobs. So you can see the amount of time and energy that he invested. It all started just a hobby to them, but sooner or later, after a couple of years, they realized that this is not just a regular thing, this is a business. So they didn't scale it. Okay, fast forward, we are here now. Nobs is suing them $40 million. Imagine, after so many years, he's suing them. And I got the chance to look at some of the pages in that document. It's like 80 pages. Get this guy Nobs, he has everything in that, starting from day one, the people who battled and the money that was contributed towards that event till today. And a lot of people, when they're looking at it, they still come up with the same outcome that, yeah, he deserves it. But can you imagine 40 million goes 40 million in your company, $40 million. Your partners, people who you started with, now they decide, I want to sue you. Imagine that $40 million, even though at the end of the day, that $40 million, at the end of the day, he doesn't get all of it. But just to get more than $1 million, it's not going to just ruin the brand, but it's going to ruin the relationships they had with all the battlers. Because all of them, they never got even $1 million in one battle. Even in 1 year of having so many battles, some of them, they never touched $1 million. But here's a guy who's suing the rap league $40 million. Then you get to wonder how much are they making of all this battle. Yeah, but all in all, that it was just to show you that contracts are important. Because of contracts, in contracts, you're going to stipulate everything. You're going to stipulate everything. You'll see as we're going through some of the different types of contracts that I've chosen today to talk about, you'll see that indeed it is important. Yeah, so some of the importance of a business agreement is to prevent conflicts. You prevent conflicts. In this case of Knobs, Beasley, and Smack, now there's a conflict. So having contracts is going to prevent, or is going to reduce some of the conflicts, because there's always going to be some bit of conflict. Even in the case of my role model, I really look up to him. Even in his case, Joe Budden from the Joe Budden podcast, even him and Spotify, the deal that they had, all the back and forth thing, contracts kind of reduce all that. And also it helps your business to maintain compliance, and your employees too. So on that point, the contract is going to help you to kind of make sure that the business, it remains where, or it goes where it's supposed to. The contract is going to enforce you as a company to not suddenly swerve into other industries. In other words, it's going to help you, it's going to maintain compliance. It means that you as a business, if you're doing photography, you're not going to start selling vegetables. You know why? Because of your contracts, they're not catered for that. They're only catered for the photography industry. So it's going to make you compliant. Even though when you want to venture into other things, you're going to have to implement other contracts that are going to help you to move that other way. And also, it helps you to compliant in terms of do the things according to the law, not do some shady things. Even your money, how you generate your money, it's not going to be shady. Why? Because of there's contracts that are binding you not to be shady. Your employees, you've given them contracts that are going to enforce them to comply. You heard? Also, it maintains official records. Contracts is going to help you to have official records that even after 20 years or even after 100 years, your generation can go back to and try and look what happened. Or even 5 years or 2 years down the line, when something bad happens, that you can still go, or someone tries to sue you, you can still go and rock up all their contracts and show them to the court that no, this is what we agree upon. Because a lot of people, their problem, as I've been saying at the beginning of the podcast, is that they don't scale their business. So once you start making a lot of millions, or once you start getting a lot of clients, now things are twisted. You get what I'm saying? Now things are just twisted. Now because of all this money and because of you never took time to write all these contracts. Now how you spend money, how you go about doing business with your friends or with people that you started with. Now everyone start thinking that, no, I deserve more, I deserve this. The other one, no, I deserve this. Like it becomes a whole lot of back and forth, which is damaging to your reputation. Because imagine now your business rivals, they start hearing about this, that that company now, the owners are fighting over who got this. They never wrote anything, they never had any contracts down. Then even some of your clients, once they start hearing that, they're going to jump ship. Why? Because they know that these guys, they never had contracts. What the hell? What is this? Is this a charity organization? Because even charity organization, they have contracts. Even NGO, they have contracts. Then why isn't these guys having contracts? Or maybe they just don't believe in their business. What's going on? Is this some kind of a scam? People now, they go. That's why when other people, they live with everything. They live with some of your clients. Why? Because of you never had contracts to protect yourself against that. You'll see when you go through some of the contracts that there are contracts that deals with that, with people leaving your business. So yeah, the first one, I think I've been saying it along the line. I think you could kind of pick it up. It is partnership agreement. This it involves 2 or more people. And inside it's individual obligations, contributions, and also benefits. This one you need it with your partners. You need to write them down. You just stipulate that this guy is taking so much. He has so much stake in my business. This guy is going to do 1, 2, 3 in my business. Is responsible of doing 1, 2, 3, 4 in my business. Meaning that even though along the line he chooses to tap into other things, as long as those other things we didn't have contracts with them, then I'm not going to pay, or I'm not going to be responsible for that, because of the contracts clearly stipulates that our partnership, this is what we're going to do, and our partnership is going to involve 1, 2, 3. So that one you need to invest in, especially people who are doing things in groups. Oof, I feel for you, because you need those contracts. As long as your business, you're not starting it alone, you're starting it with friends, you need a partnership agreement. Because when money is involved, I'm telling you, I heard a lot of things, as we've been saying about Smack Beasley and also Knobs. Hey, it's a whole lot of mess. Because now when your business grows, other people in your business, people that you view them as your partners, they start now wanting to switch sides. They start now wanting a whole lot of bag because of that. So you need to have a partnership agreement in place. You need to if you don't have money to go to the lawyers, as I've said, you just research according to your country. When it comes to partnership agreements, you also need to go to your local police station and do an affidavit that stipulates some of the things that in this contract that this person is signed in this state, it's legally binding. Then you sign it, then you put it together, then you file it. Get what I'm saying? Yeah, then you file it. Then now we've got the second one. It's called an NDA, non-disclosure agreement. This one just prevents anyone you're working with to trade confidential information to anyone outside the company. As I've said, other people now, when they go or when they walk out, they start, or even when they are inside your business, they start trading information. They start wanting to give game to other people on how your business it gets run. And now they talk about confidential things. Let me give you an example. I'm including also partnership agreement in this. You and your partner, you have an agreement that this is what you're going to do, 1, 2, 3, and now there's what you call your personal life because of you're close to him. Maybe you've recently went through a breakup with your wife, and there's been a lot of back and forth and a lot of drama that people don't know of, and also there's also cases that you are going through, or divorce cases. And in this case now your partner knows about that, your business partner, they know about that, they know the deep secrets. What you can do in that situation, you can write all of those things down, then also you can give it to him to sign as part of the NDA, non-disclosure agreement, that whatever happens to you or whatever happened to your both relationship, the person is not going to publish those things. You know what I'm saying? Because of now, when things get heated, when people now in a partnership agreement, everything starts to fall out, and now he has to go, then maybe some of the money that you used, both of you guys, maybe it was shady or whatever some reason, but I'm not even encouraging you guys to be shady when you're starting your business. But other people, they use drug money. Yeah, some of people, they do that. You take drugs money and then you flip it, and then you start your own business. get what I'm saying? So in that, you need to have an NDA, non-disclosure agreement between you and your partner. In this case, it was there's a series, all of you know it. It's Empire is a music series. Then Cookie and Lion, what happened between them two? Cookie went to jail because of Lion. Sorry to say. Yeah, he went through all that because of they were selling drugs, and now she had to take the fall. And the guy now, with that money, he blew up. He started a big business called Empire Records. He did all of that. You see, now if there's a non-disclosure agreement, it means then she is not required to, or she's not supposed to tell anyone that where did everything start. If he started because of drugs, money, she's not allowed to say it, even though now the guy is not willing to give her part of the business or part of the shares, because of she has to get some kind of compensation. If she said, no, I don't want you to give me money, I want shares. Yeah. So that one, it's a non-disclosure agreement, which that one you need to consider too. Then also the third one, it's a non-compete agreement. This one, for a certain period of time, leaving your business, those people, they are prohibited to compete with your business. So a non-compete, it helps you in cases of your employees, they decide to take a retirement, or they decide to, it's a day for me, or your business partners, they decide it's a day for me. They need to sign non-compete agreement. Others, they say non-compete clause. So they need to do that. They need to sign that. So for me personally, I prefer to have that contract in everything that I do. In fact, all of your business partners, they need to sign it. Non-compete, all of them, even your employees, even the guy who just typing for you, the guy who's just cleaning or whatever, as long as they are close enough to know what the business is about, they know a thing or two about the inside of your business, then non-compete. Especially everyone who's part of the board, non-compete. Non-disclosure, non-compete. Yes. Okay, then also we've got a joint venture agreement. This is between two companies. You agree to join together and to share all the profits, all the responsibility. And then in this one, you just have to pre-decide on the percentages. And then, this one, it's good because of this one, it gets to reduce some of the risk. Because when you're alone, a lot of things, like, you are forced to bear all the risk that comes, all the challenges that comes as a business. You need to face it on your own. But when you have joint venture agreement, that's when now you're going to stipulate, because of it's really a mess. It gets messy when you join a venture with someone else's business and not have a contract in place for that. Then you just talk up, you just say verbally, oh, okay, now we're joining. Okay, so it means now we have to do 1, 2, 3. That is bad, because of if there's a joint agreement, contracts, now that is when you're going to share some of the responsibility. For example, the equipment that you're going to use. If I'm owning a film company, then I'm deciding that my friend's company, which is Sekete Films, is joining with Universal Cinematic Films. Then I need to stipulate the joining of these two companies, the equipment, how is it going to work, and all of those things, to prevent maybe both of us using only my equipment. When things hit the fan or something bad happens, now no one is there to take responsibility. But because of it's my equipment, I'm forced to take it or to pay all the risk. But if there's a contract in place, a joint venture contract, that is when it's going to reduce all the risk. So far, all these agreements like your partnership, your NDA, your non-compete, your joint venture, it is actually important. I've chose that because of, as a startup, that is the things that you go through. Everything else, and also everything else, I know there's supplier agreement, there's tenant agreement, which is there also important, especially the tenant one. So a lot of us studying startups, what we do, if we get a place to rent out for our business, as long as that place they don't have contracts themselves, you just agree upon, oh, I'm going to pay a rent of 2,000 rand, I'm going to buy electricity of so and so and water, that's good. But when now those people, they start saying that you're making a lot of money, now they want to overcharge you, and now they want to chase you out, and you don't have time, and you have clients that you need to take care of, like you've got families, it becomes messy if there's no contract. But if you have a contract in place, you'll tell them. That's why when you're doing, it's called a lease agreement. That's why when you do a lease agreement, you need to make sure that it's like 20 years locked in. Yeah, man, it needs to be that long. Because when it's like 20 years, the tenant, they are forced, or the landlord, not the tenant, the landlord, sorry. The landlord now, they are forced to keep you that long because of the contract. In that contract, you're going to stipulate that how much are you going to get, and also annually, how much or how many percent are you going to add as part of your rent. Or when inflation rate decreases or increases, what's going to happen to the rental fee? What is going to happen? So you need to stipulate that into that lease agreement, which is very much important. And also the supplier agreement, also you need to kind of get it locked like 20 years. That's me. Rather lock it for 20 years, bro. Yeah, just lock it in for 20 years. Because of that, it's going to help you in the long run. Trust me, it's going to help you in the long run because of that business. They're not going to start changing rules, changing goal post when they see that you're winning. Because people are greedy out there. When you're starting your business, you might not see it, but as you progress, you're going to see that a lot of people are greedy. Even your suppliers, they can be damn greedy. So if you don't have a contract with them, then you're going to suffer a lot. Imagine they supply you, let's say you are a spaza shop, they're supplying you with, let's say, cold drinks. Then your suppliers, suddenly, because of their other businesses now they're working with, suddenly they decide that because of you have upgraded, maybe, let's say, your building, you went from building A to building B, or you've opened second building. Then the supplier just decides to, you know what, I'm going to increase the amount. Imagine, on that month, you know that I'm expecting to get 200 cold drink. Then the person now start wanting to break your leg and say, you know what, I want this amount, or else I'm not going to supply you with anything. Now you've got your customers who are waiting to consume that product. They're all waiting to consume your product, but this guy now, he keeps you waiting, and you're going to lose a lot of money and a lot of clients because of that one person. But if you have that contract, supplier agreement, then you're good to go. So now, how do you go about applying those contracts in your business? Firstly, I strongly suggest that you need to start believing in your business from the jump. Be able to scale it. See millions before even making a cent. If you start seeing that, if you visualize your business as a company, an empire from the jump, then that's when now it's going to be easier for you to implement all those contracts. So Don't allow yourself to work without any contract. Don't do that. Even us as a film, a cinematic film company, people they want us to do a certain work for them without any contract. And once we do that, 10 years or 5 years down the line, they'll want to redo that work, or something happens, then now, or they do some things with those work that we don't totally agree with, or they change the credits for that, they give someone else the credits. But because of there's no contracts that's binding, there's no contract that says company A is going to work with company B to do 1, 2, 3, then those people, it's going to be a messy situation. So it's important for you to have those type of contracts in place. Those contracts, they're going to assist you in ensuring that your business it remains where it needs, or it goes where it needs. For example, there's an app company. They are working with doctors and all of that. So in their apps, that's where it's easy for you to access any of their doctors, your medical files and everything else. They've developed such an app. So 2 years ago, they worked with this company, a film company or film production company, to do a commercial advert for them. I think it was 3 adverts. Then they did everything. But because of there was no contracts between them, that it was stipulating their roles and responsibility within that project. 2 years later, their apps is now they've updated their app. They've got new features in their apps. There's a lot of things that are going on. Now there's a lot of chunk of improvements. But that company now, they want to update it. They want even the adverts to be updated. But now the problem is, when they go back to that company and saying to them that we would like to update some of the things, we like to send you some of the things that we have updated in that video, and can you please update it at 1, 2, 3 so price, then the guys were like, no. Instead of the guys telling them the truth, they end up saying that, you know what, I don't have those files anymore, 1, 2, 3 and all of those things, they were never in the contract. Now they are forced to approach us and say, can you please redo that for us? So now when we charge them, now we are forced to charge them double that, because we're going to restart everything from the scratch. Now they are forced to pay a lot of money. So with us, what we did, we had a contract in place. We drafted a contract for them. You know why? Because we saw that things can be messy. Because of a lot of people, they don't understand the visuals or the film company, how it works. Just because I filmed a specific advert for you, it doesn't mean that when now you want to update some of the things in your company, it doesn't mean that to me it's a simple, you open that video, you just remove other ways, you put other ways, you remove pictures. It's a whole lot of process, because some of the things, some of the effects, and you no longer have them. You remember that you improve every day. Some of the things, it was part of your mistakes. Some of the look that you got, it was just a mistake. You were not able to color grade the way you're supposed to. Your skin tones, it was messy, but they didn't see that, they loved it. Now you cannot replicate that. Some of the effects, you need to buy them. That time maybe you were using trial version, which I'm against it, but you're using, because of you didn't have money, you need, using a trial version of it. Now that it has expired, it's 2 years down the line, you need to buy it. 2 years down the line, now you've grown, you know that you have to buy music license for the background sound that you're going to put in. The voice artist, you need to pay for those things now. You get what I'm saying? So in their contracts, in our contracts, we kind of stipulated how the whole thing is going to go about, and the file, the project file, in order for them to have them, they need to pay us a certain amount of money, so that next time when they want to re-edit it, they can re-edit it. If they don't want it, if we're going to sorry, if you're going to keep it as a company, we're going to keep it for the period of so many years, meaning that we're not allowed to pay, we're not allowed to keep it more than a stipulated years. If to our contract it says that we're going to keep the project file for 2 years, starting from this day until this other day, yeah, so it's going to be like that. So since now we've stipulated those things, we are kind of helping not just them, helping ourselves, protecting them, protecting ourselves. Because after down the line, after 2 years, if they come back and say we want now we have updated our company, or we have changed the company logo, imagine, or we have changed the name of the company, now we have joined with some other company, joint venture agreement, it came, now they in one of their agreement on their joint venture is that the logo is going to change. Now it's back to you. Now they want to change all of that, but it's after the 2 years period. But the contract, it says 2 years. Now you're not obligated. So if after 2 years your contract is clearly stipulates that after 2 years the company is going to delete the files, or after 2 years they're not responsible for whatever that happens. If it gets lost, or if the computer crashes, it crashes. If our equipment gets stolen, there's nothing we can do about it, But if it's within that 2 year term, then they can come anytime. So even this promo that they're doing, for us, we actually stipulated the amount of years or months that we need. It's the whole video, then it comes with the mini 30 seconds video for all the social medias platforms. Then if now they want to update some of the things within this period, then whenever they update after the entire project, they get to pay a certain percentage of that amount. If it's 2%, they send 2% over, because of now we have to re-add it. For example, if now in the contract it was only Instagram stories, not Instagram feed, it was Instagram stories, or it was just Instagram feed only, suddenly they contact us and say we need also an Instagram story, then it's a different amount. You know why? Because of the settings for that is different. It's not like you just go there, you export, then you go to the project file and just change the dimensions. Instead of 1920 by 1080 is 1080 by 1920, then the video, boom. No, you have to rescale everything. You have to, some of the shots that you shot, when you rescale them to fit that frame size, it gets messy. You have to change it. If that shot now it doesn't fit well, it cuts some of the features, then it means you have to remove it and try another one. If you don't have another shot, you have to take another one. You see, like it's a whole lot of mess. So contracts, it's gonna save your life. Trust me, you need to contract. Then, as I've been saying, that and the only way you're going to apply it is believing in it, scaling it. Yeah, you believe in everything that you're doing, even though you're just alone now. You're sitting in a room, you're thinking, I want to start 1, 2, 3. Okay, let me have contract. Do you know how amazing it is when I work with people? The first thing they say to me is, oh, now what about the contract? It's like when a person comes to me, a client comes to me and say, I want to shoot a music video. You know what I do? There needs to be a contract. Even though for now I'm saying it's free, it's a favor, but there needs to be a contract that stipulates that it is a favor, but things like your royalty, I'm going to get a certain percentage of the royalty. Whenever it plays on MTV Base, I'm going to get a certain amount. But the money to shoot, edit, and do everything, promote it, maybe it's not there, it's for free. But things like that, it matters. When it hits a certain views on YouTube, on their platform, you're going to get a certain percentage, because you already know that YouTube, when you reach a certain amount of views, you can monetize it. You get what I'm saying? So of that monetization, you're going to include me as part of that, on the of the percentage. That one is called knowing how to scale your business. So if I'm going to know how to scale my business, no matter, like for now, like this week, I think next week I'm going to shoot a music video for my younger brother. Even though I know he doesn't have money, I'm doing it from the bottom of my heart, and also my business partner also, he agreed that we're going to work on it. But still, there is a contract that says that once he hits a certain views, I'm going to get a certain percentage. The company is going to get a certain percentage. At the end of the day, nothing personal. It's business. Because imagine we shoot the whole music video, everything is good, then suddenly the boy gets 65 million views. Yeah, it happens. Look at 6ix9ine. 6ix9ine, there was a video that he posted a week ago. Now it's sitting on 69 million views. Imagine if that was just a favor. He monetizes, it's getting a lot of shit money out of it. Sorry. It's getting a lot of money out of that. So imagine if in my case you shoot that music video, then the person gets billions of views. It gets to all the channels, television channels. He gets a lot of money. I don't get even R1. Maybe if he even chooses to give props to someone else because of money. Someone else pays him and say, look, I want you to, when people ask you in closed doors, when they ask you who shot the music video, you say that the whole music video, it was so and so. Even though my logo is there, but you can just choose to say, no, it was so and so. Imagine. They're making money off your, even mentions and everything. It's in the contract that it clearly stipulates that your name must be mentioned in every interview that he makes regarding that music video. If it pops up, the people start asking that, oh, that music video we saw, it was too much. Your first thing, shout outs to Universal Cinematic Films for making it possible for me. They shot and edit the whole thing. I'm looking out for my business. You know? So once that on its own, it kind of gives you the impression that this guy, he knows what is doing. This guy is professional. Look, don't care about the quality, even though the quality maybe at first is messy. Look, now we are living in a digital world. Things go viral in a minute, in a few seconds. The video can go viral. Your business, in a few minutes, it can go viral. You can do a 30-second video on Facebook, on YouTube, whatever platform. Then it goes viral. In a day, it goes viral. Now you have people wanting to work with you. You don't have contracts. You're frustrated. You don't know what's going on. Other people, because of they give you cash straightforward. I'm willing to give you 100,000. You've never seen even 5,000 from a client, or even 1,000 right from a client. You've never received it. Someone just comes and bombards you with all that. 100,000. Now you imagine. Now you're like 100,000, but you get super excited, super hyped. You shoot, edit, you send them. There's no contracts. Then they give credits to someone else. They make a lot of money. They make millions out of it, since you only had 100,000. And in that 100,000, you needed to rent out equipment. Maybe 50% of that money went to equipment, 20% of that or 30% it went to people, 20% it went to you, and it was a profit. You see now, maybe you only got 20,000 out of that money. You on a personal level. But you get it now. So it's important, guys. So thank you so much for all the support. Everyone who's been tuning in to the podcast, I appreciate you. I appreciate the comments on YouTube. I really appreciate them, and also the following on Deezer, Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio. Like, guys, thank you so much. And also just want to shout out one company, Buzzsprout. It's BUZZPROUT.com. They are the one responsible for this content being all over the world. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. If you are doing podcasting and you like to get your work across through all the platforms, your work to be listed on Apple Podcast and everything else, just visit their website, sign up, pay whatever amount that you need to pay, but it starts as just free. Then when you want to take it to a whole next level, if you see that people are responding well to your stuff, then you can. And also they even partner you with sponsors. It's lovely there. So thank you so much. God bless.